I was on a panel discussing global elections. I was talking about the United States. Peter Hain was talking about the UK. Lindsay Schuttel was talking about the South African election. Then we all piled in because we all love South African elections. The conversation itself, it was lots of doom and gloom about the failures of the past 30 years, unemployment and so forth, corruption, major issue. And then there's hope, the institutions work, the judiciary is independent, people like me can write whatever we like to write. So this is positive. And so there was a sense that, yes, there's a lot of doom and gloom. Corruption is a big issue. People are worried about poverty, inequality, jobs. But people are also very hopeful that we've held it together. And there are some very, very positive things in the country.
It's my first time here, but the atmosphere, the desire, the interaction, with in the session, it's amazing. You feel loved, you feel supported. I'm happy with the session, and obviously, I think as an individual, it's more of like a healing, process, a healing, therapy. But being able to be here, the audience was amazing, the love and the support. For me, why I wrote the book now, I think it's because I feel, free, I feel healed, more matured, but I think most importantly, emotionally, psychologically, I feel ready, to tell my story. And the most difficult part about, writing the book was, telling about, what I went through, particularly, talking about, the invasive, gender testing, talking about the medication, the darkness, the depression part of it. I think it was is one of the things that it was hard because to reflect back at what has happened to me. But I managed, to pull through it because, like I said, I'm already emotionally, but it was hard to take that out. And I thank this book because it has made me feel better. It made me feel more matured, and then more important, it's just a testimony of God. You appreciate, but you feel fulfilled. For me, I'm fulfilled because after all these years, I'm able to tell my story in my own words, how I experienced it. So it fulfills me to say, look, I'm very happy, and it makes me feel like I'm free. I'm freed. If you know the movie that say Free Will.
So we were inspired to write this book by the passing of Nathaniel Julies, a young man in El Dorado Park, the community that both Lindsay and I are from, who was murdered by the police. And conversations from that really questioned why colored communities like ours were angry and whether we had the right to be angry in the new South Africa. But that translated in, do we have the right to exist? Because everybody's angry in South Africa. And so what we wanted to do was write a book that explained not just what colored is as a classification, but what it has become for us as a lived experience, what it means to be colored in South Africa today, and to give legitimacy to a group of people and communities of people who have often felt on the margins of South African society.
Even though it came from tragedy, what we found was just an incredible tapestry of stories. And we were really clear that we didn't want to write a book that was an academic book. We wanted to tell people's stories. We wanted to tell the breadth of colored stories from the Cape all the way up to Limpopo. And we were able to do that by zeroing in on so-called ordinary people. I don't like the term ordinary. I think, people who are real. We spoke to them and we asked them, tell us your experience of being colored. But at the same time, even though there were all these differences across the country, there were also these huge similarities. And it was a similarity that was brought together by a response to the apartheid government. Yes, we were put into these segregated communities because of the Group Areas Act. Yes, we were given this classification because of a certain Labour Act and because of the apartheid legislation. But we also created culture from this. We had a shared history that came from the tragedy of enslavement and colonialism and segregation, and we turned it into something beautiful.